Every single time I right click, I'm taking 50 more damage, and that's insane because you can get off quite a few right clicks before you actually take 700 damage. So you can, your HP pool could be up to like 1,000 or over 1,000. You use your shift to get in, use your E to get out. That's generally how you're gonna do it most of the time. Hold to dash. If you hold like this, now I'm holding the space or the shift. But if I just tap it, you can hit down automatically. Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm gonna be explaining to you how you can master the Thing in Marvel Rivals. This tank is extremely strong. I've been playing him quite a bit in comp, almost to eternity. And so let's go and jump right in. The first ability I'm going to talk about is Stone Haymaker, which is his right click. The description says deliver a devastating heavy blow. Honestly, this is why I play this character. This right click is incredibly strong. It takes a little bit to charge up, but whenever you use it, you lunge forward. If you see it, I lunge forward just a little bit here. So there's a little bit of range on it, actually. You can see there's quite a bit of range. That's a little bit out of range, but if I do it from right here, it's going to land. So there's pretty much no reason not to be using this. There's a couple times you don't want to be using the right click, but pretty much if you see me in a game, I'm basically just spamming this nonstop, like this, just spamming it. This thing can also go through people. You can see it's extremely strong. So if people are clumped up, you're not only going to do a lot of damage, you're also going to gain a lot of ult charge. The only time you don't really want to be charging this up is if someone's low. So that was my left click. So let me go ahead and explain. So if I'm fighting someone who's full HP, I'm definitely going to be right clicking them. So right click, but then when they get low enough, I'm going to start left clicking. Because charging up that third one's not going to be worth it, because you can just kill them quicker with the bang bang on the left click, right? Bang bang, instead of right click, which takes longer. So yeah, that's really the only time you don't want to be using this. Otherwise, try to just, I like to sit around corners, kind of like right here, for example. You can just kind of sit around a corner, hit their tank. This thing goes through shields. And you're just going to be doing so much damage. If you're not killing anything, you're at least going to be charging up your ult charge. If you hit people in a group, it's even better. So moving on to the next tip. Okay, so the next ability I'm going to be showing you is his shift, and it's called Yancy Street Charge. Basically, the important things about this is that you can charge for about 5 seconds. You knock enemies up, do a little bit of damage. It can be really off-putting or displacing to the enemies. So it can be really good for both getting in and getting out of situations. It can be really good for just kind of taking aggro from enemies. But also when you're done with this ability, it knocks people up and it creates this area, a radius, where enemies can't use movement abilities. This is really good against other tanks like the Thing or Doctor Strange, but it's also good against DPS dive heroes like Black Panther or Psylocke, where they're not going to be able to dash out of this radius. So let me go and show you what this radius looks like. So this radius right here, it also does a slight amount of damage. It's pretty negligible. It's not going to do a lot of damage. But what's more important is that this area does not allow people to move. Also, let me just kind of show you how I use this ability. So usually you can use this to get in or out of situations. I like to use it to get back from spawn, but you can just use it to kind of be an annoyance. You can literally just run around in their front line of tanks and just do this. And then at the end of it, you know, you're just continuing to spam the right clicks. Right click, left click. And it's really good. So there's not much else to this. I would say just make sure that you're using this. Think about the end of it whenever you're trying to block people's movement abilities, because that's probably something you'll often neglect. There is something in the settings that you can change. If you go to keyboard, change hero, if you go to hold to dash, if you hold like this, now I'm holding the space or the shift, but if I just tap it, you can hit down automatically. This is something that I saw on a YouTube short. So this can be helpful if you want to do that. I haven't done that so far, and I've been completely fine playing this character. So you can just auto hit up and create this space. But yeah, okay, so next is the Thing's E. It's called Embattled Leap, and basically it just applies damage reduction to both you and an ally that you choose. And the damage reduction is about 40%, and lasts for about 3 or 4 seconds. And this is what it looks like. You can see kind of rocks around them, and as long as you see the rocks, you're getting damage reduction. I like to use this ability in a couple ways. First of all, realize you have 2 charges of this, so you can use it once, and then you're going to have a cooldown of like a few seconds, and you can pop it again. So you don't need to be holding this like it's, you know, I feel like this is probably the one ability you'll forget to use most on this character. It certainly is for me. But how I like to use it, the simple way to use it is if you're frontlining with a tank and you guys are taking a lot of damage from, say, like a triple DPS comp, you can just pop it on your tank and just kind of farm your ult like this, you know, get up to the enemy, pretend I'm hitting the enemy here, and then, you know, you guys both take reduced damage and you have more pressure that way. So you're less likely to die and you're applying more pressure. The second way to use this is you can kind of go in like normal, use your shift, knock people up, right? And then try to just be as aggro as possible, be aware of where your teammates are, right? And then as soon as you start to get low, you can just turn around, hit E, and then you're going to heal up very quickly. So this is really how you want to use it. You use your shift to get in, use your E to get out. That's generally how you're going to do it most of the time. the last way you can use this is if you have a dive character like, I don't know, a Psylocke, a Hulk, Black Panther, you can tell them purposely to dive in. Okay, guys, or like Black Panther, dive in. I'm gonna dash to you, and then I'm gonna use my ult, right? And this is mainly if you have your ult. You can also use it if you're just like up one or two people. But you can like dash onto them and then pop your ult, right? Which I'll go ahead and explain the ult. The ult is Clobberin Time. It's, you know, iconic. Use immense power to launch all enemies up in front of you in the air. So this ult's fairly strong. It can be hard to land. I feel like one of the difficulties of landing this ult is actually just remembering that it has like a travel time. So if I just pop it right here, you're gonna see that it doesn't like go. It doesn't have a super large amount of range, but it has a little range. But it's gonna take a second to reach this guy, if you notice. So it actually does have quite a bit of range. But remember that the enemies will be able to react to this. So people you're directly on top of, you're definitely gonna be hitting. So like right here, point blank, they're definitely gonna be hit. But the person behind them is gonna take a second to get hit. So just remember, like if that's like a Psylocke, they could, if they have good reaction time, dash really quickly away, and they won't be hit. So try to get up close to people. You can like slam on top of them, and then if you see people grouped right in front of you, you hit ult right on top of them. And then also if you use your shift, remember this ability is going to prevent them from dashing away while you ult them. So that's also a good combination you can use. But other than that, I mean, his ult's it's kind of like a mini Doctor Strange ult. And the reason I say mini is because you can't really use it to, like, Doctor Strange is like a whole radius around him. For the thing, it's just right in front of him. So, and then they're going to be stunned. They're going to be stunned for a short duration. So hopefully your team follows up on them while they're low. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But try to hit squishies like their supports or people who are already kind of low. Don't usually want to use it on the tanks as much, but usually you'll secure at least a kill by doing this. Last but not least, I'm going to be talking about some of the things, passive abilities. So the first one is if you right click, you see that I actually gain 50 shield. So every time I hit this, I gain a shield, and that has to be the right click. So that's a 50 shield. So if I'm taking damage, every single time I right click, I'm taking 50 more damage, and that's insane because you can get off quite a few right clicks before you actually take 700 damage. So you can, your HP pool could be up to like 1,000 or over 1,000 just from using this ability. Also, if you use, remember, if you use your E and then you do this, you're taking even less damage. So you can really take a lot of damage. Also, if you use your shift, you're gonna gain 200 shield. So you see my HP goes from 700 to 900, and then that's even more survivability. So if you're low and you're like, oh, I'm about to die, don't give up. Make sure you use your shift before you do that. Your E doesn't give shield, but like I said, it gives a 40% damage reduction. And the last thing is the team up with Invisible Woman. This is bound for me to my side mouse button, but basically what it does is as you take damage, you're going to gain shield. So yet another way to gain shield. Looks like you just kind of gain it over time. So if you're just constantly taking damage, it's just a nice way to, again, have more survivability. This guy takes so much damage, it's crazy. You can often get MVP just from the amount of damage you tank. So you want to make sure you're tanking a lot of damage, which is not hard to do, honestly, but also you want to make sure you're not dying. So don't just go in like crazy and, you know, die. The last thing about the thing that I want to mention is his passive, his actual passive. He's immune to launch up and knockback, or any other displacement effects, which is honestly a godsend for tanks. You're not going to be affected by Wolverine very much at all. You're not going to be knocked back by someone like Invisible Woman, and it's just very easy to get in and out without being knocked around. And on other tanks, that is more of a worry, right? So that's the thing. If you guys have any questions about this guy, let me know. I'd say he's very strong. You can't play him in a lot of compositions, or you can't play him in every composition, but you can play him in almost every composition. The only bad thing is if you're playing against like flying characters, or if you're solo tanking, you probably don't want to play this character. And you want to flex to someone for flying characters like Mag or Strange. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Later.